Shalom, thank you for joining me for another week. We've been following the theme in the last few weeks of karma, of what you put out there, you get back. And God really wants us to receive, the creator of the universe wants us to receive, so we have a lot of opportunities to put out goodness so we can get back a lot of goodness. However, what we're going to learn about in this week is something called national karma. Something that the whole nation does that gets the whole nation a level up. And really, it has to do with blind faith, with not knowing. When the nation follows blindly, it sounds like, a bad thing. You got to be woke and you got to know what's going on and be aware. But sometimes just trusting the universe, that it's all good and that the universe loves you and has your back, and you don't need to understand everything that happens in your life. Why did this happen to me? Why did God do this to me? But you just let go and you say, I assume it's for the best. But when that's great, by the way, that's good for your karma. But when a nation collectively does that as a people, boom, we level up and it does incredible things. So let's learn about that right now, about this process of not personally letting go, but nationally letting go. Let's go. Okay, Parshat Chukat, in memory of my father, Shimshon ben Shalom. Let's go, Numbers 19:1-2. Hashem spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, This is the ritual law that Hashem has commanded. Instruct the Israelite people to bring you a red cow without blemish, in which there is no defect and on which no yoke has been laid. So this is considered what we call in Hebrew a chok, a commandment that has no rationale. It doesn't make any sense. It's metaphysical seemingly. A lot of the other commandments make sense. Okay, we should give charity. We should, honor our mother and father. All these things, we get why God commanded them. Do not kill, do not steal, do not covet. All these things make total sense. Bring a red cow that has to have all red hair and has never been worked, and this will atone for you. It makes no sense whatsoever. And it's not like we're calling Hashem out saying it doesn't make sense. He's telling us it doesn't make sense. He's using the word chok, means no logic. So as we see below, Rashi points out something interesting here. Rashi says, when it says V'zot chukat Torah, this is the ordinance of the law, because Satan and the nations of the world taunt Israel, saying, What is this command, and what reason is there for it? On this account, it writes the word chukah about it, implying it is enactment from before me. You have no right to criticize it. God says back to Satan, back to the nations of the world. So first of all, press pause here. What's going on? We understand the nations of the world calling us out and trying to mess with us. But Satan, we never really discussed Satan before. What is this Satan? Just press a quick time out because we could dive into it much deeper later. Satan is this karma force that is not a bad guy, it's just reality. Satan is the force that makes sure humans are earning what's deserving of them. And if they're not deserving, this mekatreg in Hebrew, this Satan, comes right in and doesn't allow you certain things and will even punish you, take away your life. It's this force, eye for an eye, action for action. Whatever you put out, you get back. Whatever you're deserving. So that's Satan. Satan's not a bad guy. He works for the creator of the universe. He's not a separate entity as Christianity makes it out to seem. Satan is working under God, or the mekatreg, this accusing force, just to make sure everyone's playing by the rules and everyone gets according to what they deserve. So the Satan now, this force, starts looking at Israel like, what's going on? What are you doing over here? Trying to mess with us. A suggested reason why the nations of the world and the Satan specifically go after Israel via this commandment. And below I saw a very precious story regarding Ben Netina. So here's the suggested reason. Kiddushin 31a, we're going into the Talmud now. Oh, awesome story. Rabbi Yehuda says that Shmuel says, They asked Rabbi Eliezer, how far must one go to fulfill the mitzvah of honoring one's father and mother? Rabbi Eliezer says to them, Go and see what one Gentile did for his father in Ashkelon, and the name of the son was Dama ben Netina. Once the sages wished to purchase precious stones from him for the ephod of the high priest for 600,000 gold dinars profit. So this guy had a rare rock that the people of Israel wanted to use for the breastplate of the high priest of Israel, and they offered him an insane amount of money, 600,000 gold dinars profit. And Rav Kahana taught that it was 800,000 gold dinars. Rav Kahana's like, no, when this story happened, it was much more money. Different opinion, same story. And the key to the chest holding the jewels was placed under his father's head, and he would not disturb him. So the guy's like, This is retirement money for my family and for generations to come. But my dad's sleeping, so I can't wake him up. No deal. Which is crazy. But he says no deal. He has to honor his father. You're not allowed to wake your father up. The next year, the Holy One, blessed be He, and he missed that opportunity. They bought it from someone else. The next year, the Holy One, blessed be He, gave Dama ben Netina his reward, as a red heifer was born in his herd. Getting a red heifer, this red cow, very rare, very big deal. So this guy who happened to have this gem also, now he gets a red heifer in his cow. And the Jews needed it. We needed it for the temple. When the sages of Israel came to him, he said to them, I know concerning you that if I were to ask for all the money in the world, you would give it to me. But I ask only that money I lost due to the honor of my father to give me that, and let me get what's mine. Beautiful story. And they paid him that money, and he got it. From this it could become understood that this story created an accusation from Satan on Israel. So the karma train wakes up now and like, what? As this man who is not an Israelite, not commanded to serve his father to such a degree as he did with all of his heart, because we're not allowed to wake up our father when we're sleeping. It's a custom of the people of Israel. This guy's not an Israelite. That's not even on him. But still, he's like, no, I'm going to hold to this high level of priesthood that the Israelites are holding by. I'm not going to wake up my father. And he lost a great deal of wealth over this commandment. So this guy, who's not even commanded to do it, he did this. He lost a great deal of wealth. So Hashem Yitbarach desires to sweeten this accusation against Israel. So basically, he's making Israel look bad. God's like, look at this guy. I don't even command that he's doing this. Israel, I'm commanding you, and you're not even holding. It creates an unbalance in the karma. It makes us look bad. And Satan's always trying to attack, trying to make it all even and fair. So God's like, I have to sweeten this a little bit. Since this Gentile lost much money due to a very rational mitzvah, like a mitzvah that was understood, honoring one's father, which is not the case with the people of Israel, who pay a great deal of money for a non-rational commandment, such as the red heifer. So we're like, all right, easy. He did a mitzvah that makes sense. Not waking up your father, honor him. Guess what? The people of Israel, we keep commandments that don't make sense, which has no understandable logic, which then balances the scale via the merit Israel creates through this act of faith. Because we have blind faith in this whole entire situation, this accusing force can't really mess with us. So we may have done something wrong. We may be at a low spiritual level. But simply because we have blind faith, we created this protection around us, this force field, where this force cannot attack us. Therefore, when Satan and the nations of the world see Israel fulfill the keeping of a commandment that has no logic or rationale, like the red heifer, they seek to downplay it and turn it into a logical commandment. So they're like, oh man, the fact that they have blind faith is causing them to have super karma. Therefore, they ask Israel, what's the purpose of this commandment? They're like messing with us. They're trying to get it out of us because they want to cause Israel to respond with a reason, which will then once again give them an opening to accuse Israel, because it's like, heaven forbid, which is like, oh, now there's a purpose to it. You're not having blind faith. You lost your karma loop. That this is indeed a rational commandment. That's what they're going to want to say to us. They're going to be like, no, you're not doing a blind faith. So they're like poking at us. What's the reason for this commandment? Why are you doing it? And it looks like they're trying to make fun of us, but really they're trying to make us lose our karma. Therefore, the Torah is clear that this is a non-rational commandment, and it's a decree from before Hashem, and it's forbidden to investigate its reasoning. Don't go there, Israel. Don't ever try to explain to anyone. This is your secret sauce. Blind faith is your secret sauce. And it's a decree from before Hashem, and it's forbidden to investigate its reasoning. And then the force that accuses Israel in the heavens is nullified. This force to try to call us out for like what we're slacking on, what we're sleeping on, what we're not doing well or not, it ruins it. It like takes up a decree and changes it for us. And this is correct with the help of the heavens on me. Beautiful thought. And I just want to say quickly something very interesting, because we're talking about karma and decrees in heaven getting changed on us because we have blind faith. And there's a concept that the people of Israel, well, all humanity is, but the people of Israel are tapping into a power that makes them what's called in Hebrew lamala min hateva, beyond the laws of nature. Meaning there's these 12 constellations, there's these energies from the heavens. People read their cards, I'm Aries, I'm Pisces, this is my energy for the month. And that's all good, and there's a lot of truth there, and there's a lot of reality there. But humans have the ability to be beyond it. We could take what's our karma or what's meant for us and completely change it to something else. So don't ever get phased of I'm stuck in this, or this is me, or I can't. You can change everything and anything you want about you and your experience in this planet just by changing your karma loop up. And we see here blind faith is one of the strongest ways to go about it. So I give everyone the strength. The word mazel tov, really people think it means good luck. Mazel means a drip from a higher source to a lower source, which some people say the word nozzle, the etymology of the word nozzle, a sink for a drip comes from, is where it comes from, because there's drips coming from above to down onto us called mazel. But Israel is lamala min hamazel. We are above mazel, means whatever karma we have against us, like that's going to be bad or whatnot, in an instant we could swap it out with something good. All we need to do is just let go, have faith that the creator of the universe loves us, and it'll all end okay. And not only is this good for us spiritually, physically we could enjoy the inside of our brain where we're not worrying about everything, trying to decode, is this good, is that bad? We're losing our minds in that realm, micro-assessing everything. Shabbat Shalom, stay strong, over and out.